Have you ever forgotten a password? So what you do is you click that forgot password link, and what happens? Well, they don't send you your password. There's a reason they don't send you your password. They don't know it. Servers don't store passwords. They store hashes of passwords. And a hash is like a fingerprint. It's a one-way algorithm that creates a number, a long number, based on a string of text. And then there's no algorithm, there's no mathematical formula that you can use to get back from that string of numbers to the original password. So that's what hashes are. There are several kinds, MD5, SHA-1, SHA-2, SHA-3, and so on. So we're going to use MD5 here, and let's just create a password that looks pretty good. 1302 Alex 1994. Okay, that's not likely that anybody else would guess that password. So let's go ahead and generate a hash of that. And here's our MD5 hash. Here's the SHA-1 hash. We'll use the MD5 hash. I'll go ahead and copy that. And now I'm going to go over here to this password cracker site. And I'm going to put that in there and see what happens. And look at that. It's right there. It decrypted it instantly. Okay, what's going on here? Well, what's going on here is that has been seen before, and somebody has put it in a database called a rainbow table. As a matter of fact, it comes up on this, which is the list of the top 100,000 passwords. There it is. I had it highlighted there. 1302 Alex 1994. It's number 99,389 in popularity. Now, you would never have guessed that, but that's a common password, at least among the top 100,000. Well, most passwords that most people think of would fall into a list of ones that have been seen before. As a matter of fact, there are sites that do nothing but collect these things. You know, test your password now. So you put your password in there and it generates the hash. Well, guess what it does? Puts it into a database so that it can be cracked later by somebody else. I'm not saying every site that's like that does that, but I certainly wouldn't put my personal passwords into a web page, into a website to, quote, check it, because they could certainly be skimming those passwords and making a database like that. So what do we do? Well, common wisdom says make something that is complex. So let's just make something that is a complex password. Okay, something like that. And let's try that one. Let's generate that. And we'll put it here in our password cracker and see what we come up with. And sure enough, it wasn't found. But the problem is that who's going to remember this? Probably nobody. So conventional wisdom today, or newer wisdom I should say today, is to use a passphrase that actually has words in it, but that really are unlikely as a string of words to be found in one of those hash tables. So let's do something like M&M, because I like M&Ms. Actually, let's make it all small just for ease. M&M, tree, snow, blanket, floor, and lasagna. Did I spell lasagna right? I don't know. Well, now this is something that I probably could remember or teach myself to remember fairly easily. And let's generate that password, copy it, take it over to our cracker, and see what happens. Yeah, it didn't find it, of course. Well, this is much easier to remember than that bunch of letters, symbols, and so on that we had earlier. So this is newer wisdom on how to create passwords. We create these passphrases, but not out of things that make sense. I don't say something like, I don't like to eat tomatoes. You know, that's not a good password. As a matter of fact, I put some space in there. By the way, most passwords do allow spaces, but I don't like to eat tomatoes. Okay, I'm not going to do something like that because that is a phrase that makes sense. No, I'm more likely to use a phrase that doesn't make sense. Frogs eat grass, but nobody knows it. Okay, even that makes sense, but it's kind of a nonsensical phrase because nobody, it's not true, for one thing. And I'm almost certain here that that is not going to show up on the cracker. And sure enough, it didn't. So even that isn't bad, even though I didn't use random words for that. Although random words are better than something like this. All right, well, that's a little bit about password hacking and cracking. As a matter of fact, by the way, that first one that I had, that one with 1302 Alex 1994, that came from a list here of the top 100,000 passwords. It happened to be 99,389 in popularity, believe it or not. So we have to be very careful about, I can't possibly know and guess all of these and look up my password and see if they're in a list like this. Besides that, this is only 100,000 of them. There are lists with millions of top passwords. So that's why that passphrase is really the best way to go about it.